Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network. Hey, welcome back, everybody. We are here to coach you into a better life. Part of that is leaving behind the regrets that you might have in your life, identifying them. Maybe they're there, you don't even realize it, but there's something there, and it's holding you back. And forgiveness. We're going to get with that and lots more today. She's an amazing life coach. So much insight. I've learned so much and even had things validated, things that I've always wondered about and thought about. And she made them come clear, which is what she does. She's beautifully broken. I am too. We all are. That's the name of her practice, Living Beautifully Broken. And Dawn Manderfeld, our professional of the year, is back with us. How are you doing today?
You know what? It's been a busy morning, but it's good. The snow's starting to melt a little bit here, so I'm happy.
And I'm happy because I made that pledge publicly last time we got together to wake up earlier.
Yeah.
And I've been doing it. There was
good for you.
A couple of weekdays that I got up later than I wanted to, but I was at something, a function, an event the night before, and I got to bed later, and I don't want to cheat myself out of sleep, so I had to do the blend. But when you go to bed later, do you wake up the same time regardless?
Yes, I do. I've been doing it for so many years now that my brain is just on auto. And do I regret staying up later? The majority of the time, yes, I do. Because sometimes for me, it hits me as early as like 10:30 in the morning. I mean, when you're getting up between 4:45 and 5 o'clock in the morning, 10:30 is already kind of a long morning.
Do you find that you get like brain fog when you don't have enough sleep? Like you just can't like focus and I just get clarity sometimes, or you just like feel grouchy?
I do. If I don't really get grouchy, but I can feel like, for me, when I say brain fog, it's kind of like when my whole day gets off kilter.
Yeah.
However, if no matter how late I stay up, when I get up, I do my routine first, my quiet time, my workout. That literally makes a huge difference. So even when I'm tired, I really, really need to focus on getting them in right away.
Okay. All right. So, Dawn is guilting me here today.
No.
but with good reason, and it's on myself, that no matter what, I should wake up earlier because it will accomplish more, feel more settled instead of like, I got to do that last minute. That I will say, and I talked with somebody last night who is always late. He doesn't budget enough time. He feels that he can squeeze things in. And we all had a meeting last night, a bunch of other people, and he shows up late. He said he was going to be late, but he was way late. And we actually called him out on it. I'm like, dude, this is a group of men, I think I mentioned. And we said, we can't support you if you're not going to follow through with it. And I will say that kind of used to be me, but I was intentional about being on time, saving extra time, but certainly in the morning, you get so much done before the sun comes up if you're intentional, and it feels good. It feels good.
It helps you relax earlier in the evening too. For me, another thing is it's hard for me. I can relax, but it's hard for me to get my brain to shut down. So even though I stay up late, if I get up in the morning and I stick to my routine, it's like my brain gives me permission to relax earlier in the evening because I know that I did not miss out on something or I didn't short myself.
And do you feel that you might even be aware of it, but there's things floating around in the back of your mind, things that you needed to accomplish? I got to do that. Got to send that email. Got to do that. But you've already taken care of it since you woke up early. But if you don't take care of it, then it's still there. Again, you might not be aware of all the pieces that are floating out there, but at the end of the day, literally at the end of the day, you can't relax because there's some things I didn't do and I can't remember what they are. It's late in the day, but it gets in your way.
Yep.
got to wake up earlier.
Yeah.
It's like I'm avoiding the dragon, but the dragon is going to help me, and I can ride the dragon. Dragon is my friend. But
I was just going to say the dragon will become your friend, not your enemy.
So let's, and we're talking about regrets. There was a regret. I regret not getting up earlier. So I got to do that. We're going to tackle regrets in general, forgiveness and all of that. First, going to check in with Kelly. She's from Ocala, Florida, and you can always reach out to us, instant feedback, steve@gmail.com. She says, you mentioned the importance of breathing. I've heard 448 works well. Can you share any more suggestions?
448 can help, but when you're concentrating on the counting, it can sometimes depend on how your brain works. It can affect really how well your breathing is. So for me, I like to just tell my friends, my clients, patients, whatever they are, just find a quiet place to sit. Some place that is just quiet and you don't have a lot around you. And a lot of times you can't do that, especially when you're at work.
Yep.
But you need to learn to just zone out, literally, and just take in deep breaths through your nose and let them out through your mouth. And don't even count. And use your shoulders, like really breathe in, like fill up your chest cavity and just take your time blowing it out. And don't necessarily count, because for me, counting can get in the way for me, because then I'm trying to concentrate on how long I'm counting. Then I'm really not concentrating on my breathing. So it's really important that even if you're at your desk, find a position, whether it's this position, hold your head, literally finding the position that you can feel like you're getting rid of everything around you, and just start breathing in deep and just let it out. And let it out slow. Lift your shoulders so that your whole body, because when you're doing that, it's telling your mind, oh, I'm doing something. If you're just going to sit there and you're just breathing in and you're breathing out really, really fast, sometimes, well, the majority of the time, it's telling your brain, I don't have much time to do this, but I need to settle down. You need to almost like trick your brain into the fact that, oh, I want to relax. I want to de-stress right now. So find a position. Put your shoulders into it. Put your chest cavity into it, and just take your time doing it. If you need to set a timer, but at least then you're not counting. And like I said, 448 can work for a lot of people, but when you can learn to breathe without timing things and watching the time, it can help. Let's say you only have 2 minutes. Set some soft, like on your phone, set a little timer, but make it soft so that when it goes off, it's not, it's like, really soft. Because then what happens is you're not paying attention to that. You know that you have time, and it may seem a whole lot longer.
I totally agree with you on the counting thing. And I've heard that the exhale needs to be a lot longer than the inhale.
Yes.
So let's get rid of the counting thing, because it gets in the way. I get it.
Yeah.
I think, and tell me if this is how you feel, be intentional of letting that breath out be longer. And
yeah, because when you're going and you're using your whole body, you can just, it literally feels good when you do it. When you're just letting it out slow and you're letting your whole body react to it. It triggers a part of your brain that just lets your brain go, oh, it's time to just, I need to relax right now. I need to shut things down.
And you had mentioned, techniques, use your shoulders. I'm all on board with that. Sometimes if you're in a stressful situation, like you're in a meeting, you can't do that, but you can still do the breathing, and nobody's ever going to know. I I have a friend. I've known him for 30 years, worked with him many different times along the way, and actually working close with him in the last couple of months. And when I first met him, he was actually my superior. And he had this way about him. He would read people and you were like, I'm getting fired. This is it. I'm out of here. Because it was intimidating. But a lot of times I would see him as we're trying to figure something out. He would be like, and I'd be like, what is with this guy? Something's not right with him. But then back then, I had no idea of the importance of breathing. And now I get it. And he is very spiritual and does yoga and all of that. And yoga only came for him in the last 7 years. But that's what he was doing. He was just, there was a lot going on. And I see now that he was doing like a reset, breathing and a reset.
Yeah. Because right now I just did it, but you couldn't tell.
Right. Yeah.
And because I breathed in and out through my nose.
Mm-hmm.
So that it wasn't, so people are looking at me like, oh boy, she's distressing. But you can still do it without showing anything, but yet you start training your brain. Oh, when they start doing this, I need to change some things.
So is it way more impactful to breathe through your mouth? Yeah, that's another confusing thing for me. I think it's, breathe through your mouth, but exhale through your nose. Does it make a difference?
For some people, actually, it can.
Okay.
For some people, when they breathe through their mouth and they exhale through their nose, it's harder to go slower when you exhale through your nose than when you exhale through your mouth. And you're actually holding in the breathing in a whole different way. So if you try it, you're actually having to concentrate on keeping your mouth closed to exhale, that's where the release comes from.
So maybe in situations where you're not worried about anybody seeing you, the inhale can be through your mouth, and then you hold it, obviously. And the exhale can be through your nose because, as we said, you want it to be longer. And it's easier to let it take longer through your nose because you can expel the same amount of air through your nose as you would through your mouth.
Yep.
Okay.
So it's really practicing to see what works for you.
Yeah. And if you're getting results, if you're feeling just some kind of relief in the moment, and you should, at least in my experience, 10 seconds, you should be, all right, that felt good. I feel calmer, after taking those breaths. Then I guess it's working.
Well, even when if I work out, let's say I've had a day and it just, people just don't stop coming at you. And I'm like, I got 20 minutes. I'm going for a walk. I'm going for a run. I'm going to do something. I have learned how to just really breathe in deep when I'm doing that. And usually in about 5 minutes, my body becomes so calm. It's like, okay, I don't need the full 20 minutes. Let's go back. Let's finish this. Let's get it done.
Mm-hmm. It's a cool kind of calm. There's the calm where you're on the couch where you're just like, I don't do anything. I'm just like chilling out. End of the day calm. And then there's that calm where you can still function very well, get things done, but it's almost as if the stuff that triggered you, annoyed you, whatever is, you've got it at arm's length now, as opposed to it being close to you. Like a boxer. You're not getting hit close. There's swings out there, but the swings aren't even connecting with you after the breath.
Yep. It's like you have a barrier there. Yeah. They can't touch you.
Yeah. Force field. You're breathing force field.
Yep.
So thank you, Kelly, by the way, for the email.
Yeah, so thank you, Kelly.
Let's talk about regrets. Obviously, there's always been that adage that no regrets. Let's flip it. Are regrets good?
If you learn from them.
Okay.
If you literally have a regret that you can't go back and fix, and you literally take the time to think about what you could have done different, why you reacted the way you did, it can help you as you move forward to actually change it.
Hmm.
So a lot of our regrets can be out of very quick decisions, angry decisions, sad decisions. Some regrets are out of our control and we really can't do anything about it. And so you really have to determine, where is that regret coming from?
Hmm.
Was it something I could control? If so, what can I learn from it? If it wasn't something that I could control, then how am I going to just move forward from it?
If you look at a relationship, it takes two, right? And let's say the relationship ended. Usually there's a regret in there about your role in if it didn't end well, your role in the relationship. Is that a lesson, or is that something that you need to release the regret? Maybe, you had this much role in the ending of the relationship or the direction, and somebody else's role was this. They may have done all these things and you may have done this, but you still have regrets. In those relationship situations, how do you navigate?
You can have regrets in a relationship like that, but I would say in about 62%, I think is what I had read recently, in relationships, if there's regrets, the regret that you feel if you're the person always trying to please them and always saying you're sorry and always trying to correct yourself and they are not, there are some regrets that there's nothing we can do about it and you need to just forget it and move on. Because there again, you're two totally different people from a majority of the time, very different backgrounds.
Mm-hmm.
And you're trying to learn to get along. You're trying to live together. You're trying to have a life together. And in about 62% of them, there is one person that will always go the extra mile. But if you're always the one doing that, you have to learn from that and realize that some of the regrets you have, there's nothing you could do about it because the other person didn't take their actions into consideration and they weren't willing to compromise, or they weren't willing to see what their part was in it, and there wasn't enough communication to figure it out.
Yep. It's those are the times where you got, I guess, let the regret go. Take the lesson.
Yep.
But let it go. Regret and or forgiveness. They kind of go hand in hand.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. They can very well go in hand to hand, because you not only have to forgive yourself if you have a regret, you have to forgive the other person too. Especially if they had a part in that regret. Because no matter what you did, they weren't willing to see their part in it. So are you always going to be angry? Are you always going to hold on to that? Are you going to bring that into another relationship?
Mm.
You need to figure it out and figure out what you can do next time, what you're willing to put up with, so that you don't keep having the same regret all the time. And forgiveness is huge in that. Can you forgive yourself for going above and beyond? Can you forgive yourself for staying too long? And can you forgive them because they didn't see the importance of situations to you?
Mm.
It almost makes you wonder, how important was I to them?
Pinnacle point. It really is. When you think of it that way, let's say somebody did some horrible things. You did your thing. Maybe you have regrets about it. Maybe they have regrets, but they're not expressing them, whatever. Yeah, that's an interesting view of it. Viewing your value, because if they saw your value, they wouldn't have done things that they had done. And that's it. We're going hypothetical here, but even in any relationship, there's probably at some point going to be a regret. I'm thinking about this, even, best friend relationship, I know, I think he has a regret about something that happened. It's all good now. Fantastic. Better than ever in one relationship that's coming to mind. But there was one thing that came up a few years ago, and he regretted it, but we all worked it out. and again, better than ever. Do you feel that there's regrets in all relationships?
I do, even long-term ones.
Yeah.
I mean, I have friends and family now that have been married, 30, 40, 50 years. And when I talk with them, they have regrets.
Mm.
But what happened was the older and the more mature they got, they decided to start talking about it and bringing it up and saying, back when this happened, this is what bothered me. And I'm really sorry that this is how I responded to you. And I'm really glad that we're slowly working that out or that we've changed that, because a lot of regrets can be changed just through maturity.
Mm.
And the more in love you fall with somebody, genuinely wanting to work it out with them because you see value,
Yep.
there are still regrets in that, but you can work through it to where those regrets don't ever happen again.
Does this go in line with the cliche? And I kind of love it. Don't should on yourself. Don't should on. I should have done this. I should have done that. That to me, that points right at regrets. Is that really the same thing?
It does, because when you think that way, that's what makes you regret the situation. I mean, like, you should have done that, but did you learn now to where you won't before? And are you willing to go to that person and say, you know what? I really shouldn't have done that. I'm sorry. I will work on it. It may happen again.
Mm.
But now that you talked with me or I saw what it did to you, that wasn't intentionally what I meant. It was how I was reacting in the moment,
Yeah. Would you say the regret is the awareness and then what follows needs to be the forgiveness?
Yes. Yep.
Hmm.
Yeah. When you become aware of a regret or you become aware of something that you did that either hurt somebody and made them change towards you, or the mood you were in that day and you're normally not like that, that is the actual, oh my, this is what I did. Oh, I can't believe I did that. But then you need to forgive yourself, but you also need to talk to the person so that you know that the forgiveness is complete. Yes. They may not accept it, but you need it for you.
Is it just, again, another cliche, just get it off your chest. You could say to somebody, I'm not perfect. I regret some of the things I did. And then, and I forgive myself and, I forgive you for what you did, and then just leave it be.
Yep. But then you have to be willing to move on from it. Don't bring it up again.
Oh yeah. One and done.
And if it keeps coming up, then did you really forgive them?
If it keeps,
did you really work it out?
Yeah.
Or is it you or is it them? Because a lot of times when that happens, it's us.
If it keeps coming up, call Dawn. That's where I go with that. Seriously. No, seriously. Best way to find you. How do we do that?
You can go to my website, which is livingbb.org. My phone number is 952-200-1103. And my email is dawnrenee@livingbb.org.
Always great talking with you, Dawn.
Yes, it was great today.
Yeah, learn a lot. And again, instantfeedbacksteve@gmail.com if you want to reach out to us. If you have any questions, have no regrets. No regrets. They're lessons. That's what I'm learning here. Thank you. And we'll catch up next time, okay?
Sounds great. Have a blessed weekend.
You too. We'll be right back. Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
Adopt US Kids presents Multiple Choice Parenting.
Your daughter just had her first breakup. Do you A, put yourself in her shoes?
How could he do this to you? And for Sheila, she has split ends.
B, console her.
Oh, sweetie, this is going to happen a lot. 4, maybe 5 more times before you get married.
C, take charge.
Got to get this all straightened out. Give a little talking to, man to man, mano a mano. Hey, Steve. It's now a good time? No? Okay, no problem. Bye.
Or D, help her find a new boyfriend.
I know a great place to meet boys. The internet. Nice, single boys. Never mind. How about some ice cream?
As a parent, there are no perfect answers. But you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
For more information on how you can adopt, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.